Pompeii, the lost city buried alive. Imagine walking through a beautiful Roman city. The streets are busy. Markets are filled with people. Children are playing. Shops are open. Families are enjoying their daily lives. Then, without warning, the ground begins to shake. The sky turns black. A massive volcano erupts, sending fire, ash, and deadly clouds toward the city. People run for their lives. But for thousands of them, there is nowhere to escape. This is the story of Pompeii, the ancient Roman city that disappeared in one of history's most terrifying disasters. But the most incredible part? Pompeii was not completely destroyed. It was frozen in time.
Chapter 1. A city full of life. Almost 2,000 years ago, Pompeii was a thriving Roman city located near the Bay of Naples in southern Italy. It was a beautiful and wealthy place. The city had impressive villas, public baths, temples, restaurants,
Shops, theaters, and busy streets. People from different backgrounds lived and worked there. For the citizens of Pompeii, life seemed normal. They had no idea that a disaster was approaching. Standing near the city was a huge mountain called Mount Vesuvius. Today, we know it as one of the world's most famous volcanoes. But in the 1st century, the people of Pompeii did not fully understand what the mountain was capable of. And then, in the year AD 79, everything changed. Chapter 2. The day the volcano awakened. The exact date of the eruption is still debated by historians, but sometime in AD 79, Mount Vesuvius suddenly exploded. The eruption was enormous. A giant column of ash and volcanic material rose high into the sky. The beautiful blue sky above Pompeii quickly disappeared. Darkness covered the city. Ash began falling everywhere. At first, many people may have believed they could survive. But the situation became worse by the hour. The streets were covered in volcanic debris. Buildings began to collapse under the weight of the ash. People desperately searched for shelter. Some tried to escape the city. Others stayed behind, hoping the disaster would soon end. But Mount Vesuvius was only beginning. Chapter 3. The Deadly Cloud. The most terrifying part of the eruption came later. Extremely hot clouds of gas, ash, and volcanic material, known as pyroclastic flows and surges, rushed down the slopes of the volcano. These deadly waves moved incredibly fast. They were hot enough to kill instantly. For the people who were still in Pompeii, there was almost no time to react. The city was overwhelmed. In a matter of hours, Pompeii was buried beneath layers of volcanic material. Homes disappeared. Streets vanished. Temples and public buildings were covered. And thousands of people lost their lives. The city that had once been filled with noise and activity suddenly became silent. Pompeii had disappeared from the world. Chapter 4. A City Forgotten. After the eruption, Pompeii was buried beneath meters of ash and volcanic debris. Over time, nature took over. The Roman world changed. Empires rose and fell.
Generations passed, and Pompeii slowly disappeared from people's memory. For centuries, the buried city remained hidden beneath the ground. But something extraordinary had happened. The volcanic ash that destroyed Pompeii also protected it.
The streets, buildings, paintings, and everyday objects were preserved. It was as if time itself had stopped on that terrible day. Chapter 5. The City Returns. Centuries later, people began discovering evidence of the ancient city. Excavations eventually revealed something astonishing. Beneath the earth was an entire Roman world. Archaeologists uncovered houses, temples, shops, theaters, roads, and beautiful artworks. They discovered graffiti written on walls. They found cooking equipment and everyday objects. They even found evidence of food that had been prepared before the eruption. Pompeii was no longer just a forgotten city. It had become a time capsule, a window into the daily life of ancient Rome. Chapter 6. The Mystery of the Human Forms. Perhaps the most haunting discoveries at Pompeii were the human remains. When people died beneath the volcanic material, their bodies eventually decomposed. But the surrounding ash
hardened. This left empty spaces where the bodies had once been. Archaeologists later used plaster to carefully fill these spaces. The result was haunting. The casts revealed the final positions of people who died during the disaster. Some appeared to be adults. Some were children. Their final moments were suddenly visible to the modern world. These discoveries remind us that Pompeii was not simply an archaeological site. It was once a real city, and the people who lived there had families, dreams, fears,
and ordinary lives, just like us. Chapter 7. What really happened? For centuries, historians have tried to understand exactly what happened during the eruption. How many people escaped? How many died? What was the final moment like for those who remained? Some people may have escaped before the deadliest stages of the eruption. Others were trapped inside their homes. The disaster unfolded over many hours, meaning that different people experienced very different final moments. And although modern science has helped us understand the eruption, many mysteries remain. We may never know the personal stories of everyone who lived through that terrible day. Chapter 8. Pompeii Today. Today, Pompeii is one of the world's most famous archaeological sites. Visitors can walk through the ancient streets. They can see houses where Roman families once lived. They can enter old shops and theaters.
They can look at paintings that survived for nearly 2,000 years. And everywhere you look, there is a reminder of the disaster. Pompeii gives us something rare. It allows us to see not only how ancient people built their cities, but also how they lived, what they ate, what they believed, how they worked, and how quickly an ordinary day could become a catastrophe. Final part: the city that time forgot. Pompeii was destroyed in one of history's greatest volcanic disasters, but strangely, its destruction also preserved it. The city was buried, forgotten, and then rediscovered. Today, its silent streets tell a story that has survived for almost 2,000 years. A story about life, a story about death,
and a reminder that even the greatest civilizations can disappear in an instant.
Perhaps that is what makes Pompeii so fascinating. It is not just a lost city. It is a message from the past. A message buried beneath the ashes, waiting for the world to remember. This is Mysteries of History. And the mystery remains. If you had been in Pompeii on that fateful day, would you have escaped? Or would your story have been buried forever beneath Mount Vesuvius?
If you enjoyed this Mysteries of History, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more incredible stories from the world of history.